gradually running as fast as it should. And of course, a lot of people are really excited about this. Welcome to the show. My name is Simeon Sonny, and of course, Gessie right here with me this morning. Gessie, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling very, very, I don't know. My heart is racing.
Oh,
my heart is racing this morning.
Why is it racing? What happened?
It's February, and once it's February, the year just runs by. The year just moves, and I'm like, slow down. Let me set some things in order before the year moves on. But hey, if only we could make time wait for us. There's some decisions we'd make faster and more effectively. But welcome to the Front Page Review. This is not a life coach show. This is a political show where we check out headlines and see how they affect you as a Nigerian and us as Nigerians, right? And then we'll be going across a lot of front pages, newspaper front pages this morning, and we'll check out Punch, Vanguard, This Day newspaper. We'll cut across board all the newspaper headlines this morning. Don't forget, we're live on YouTube. You can join us at Voice of the People 96.1 FM. That is Voice of the People Abuja on YouTube. And on WhatsApp, Simeon.
0700 010 961 961. 0700 010 961 961. And feel free to send a voice note as well, telling us which of the headlines we touched on, that you want to speak to as well. Just join us as well. And talking about the headlines for today, remember at 7:30 on the dot, we will be joined by Rufai Oseni, all the way from Lagos, a very controversial, person. Well, anyway, we'll talk about that later at the 7:30 hour. But let's kickstart with, some of the training headlines. But before we talk about that, quickly, let me just, pick Guess's brain on the Afcon games that will be played today. Nigeria will be playing, Angola. And we've seen the Angolan side threatening the Super Eagles. That, they are the underdogs. And the Super Eagles are the top dogs, in this particular game. So looking at it, and I read a couple of reports of the gifts that is apparently awaiting Angolans if they win the game against Super Eagles.
You say gifts, very juicy offerings to be given
when
to
I
Angola.
saw the outline of the gifts, I was really, really shocked. And I was like, which Nigerian company would do this for the Super Eagles? Most of them, they've gotten an iPhone 15. So many gifts. Two banks have decided to give them $50,000 each.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, please.
It's so juicy for them. That's such a huge incentive for Angolans to do and undo today. But we're hoping and praying that this spiritual or mental warfare that the Angolans have got going on will not affect our Super Eagles. You guys just keep your head on straight and do what you got to do. Leave your hearts because I'm so passionate about this. Nigeria has to win. We have to win. I mean, we need a win, Simeon, at this point in time. We really, really do. We're at a situation in our lives as a country where things just feel a little bit uncertain for a lot of people.
Very true.
We just need something to hold on to and be like,
glimmer of
what?
hope.
This is the Nigeria we used to know and we love it. There's that love, whether you like it or not. There's always that love for Nigeria.
Back in the day when the Super Eagles used to play, I remember works. Your bosses would tell you close for work for the day. Go home and watch the Super Eagles match.
Yes.
These days, bosses, you even be watching through your phone. They'll tell you keep your phone down. But we just hope that Nigeria will be great again. That's what we believe and that's what we know. And of course, it's time for us to get straight to more, political headlines. We just had to touch on that, trying to get across to Rufai Oseni this morning. And looking at some of the headlines making the rounds this morning, so many, headlines surrounding or around insecurity in the country. I'll just touch on a few of the newspapers that have headlines that has to do with insecurity. On the Punch, the lead story says abductions. 15 states enlist 50,000 vigilantes against kidnappers. Abductions, 15 states enlist 50,000 vigilantes against kidnappers. That is the lead story on the Punch this morning. And also we've seen similar headlines on Daily Trust, and this one is not about vigilantes. It talks about a monarch in Kwara that was shot dead at the palace. the wife abducted. You know, so many stories touching on insecurity. And still talking about insecurity as well, and forestalling any breakdown of law. This Saturday, that is tomorrow, by-elections will be happening across 26 states in the country. And of course, the IG is also speaking. That is part of the headlines we'll be touching on this morning right here on the show. Let's get across to Rufai Oseni this morning, and let's get started on some of the trending headlines this morning. And remember, join us live on YouTube. Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People is the YouTube page. Kindly subscribe.
Maybe we'll start with the elections. Let's start with the elections.
Let's talk about the elections where the IG have actually warned troublemakers and has also restricted movement in 26 states. This is the by-election happening tomorrow, 3rd of February 2024 across some states. The Inspector General of Police, El-Rufai Betoko, on Thursday ordered the restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, airspaces, and other forms of transportation from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the 26 states where INEC will be holding by-elections this Saturday. And of course, this was as he warned troublemakers to stay away from the exercise. And looking at, that particular report, those on essential duties, service providers will definitely, go to work. Like INEC staff, observers, journalists, even foreign and domestic observers as well are allowed to move freely on that particular day. Ambulance drivers are also allowed to do that. Emergency providers, service providers are also allowed to go about their duties tomorrow. So if you are an emergency service provider or an essential service provider, and you are in any of the states I'm going to go across, ensure you go to work on so you don't give excuses.
All right. We've got Rufai Oseni on the line.
Okay, Rufai is here. Good morning to you.
Bless you. How are you guys?
Well, fine, thank you so much.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah. I'm with you. Good morning. Yeah.
Oh, good morning. Oh, great to have you on the show today.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the preparations for the by-elections tomorrow. That will be happening across 26 states. A lot of Nigerians are worried, especially as regards security, knowing that some of the states where by-elections will be happening, and even some of the local governments, there have been cases or pockets of cases of insecurity reported. The likes of Nasarawa State, where it does now seem like the hotbed for bandit attacks. The likes of Adamawa as well will be having their by-elections. The Lagos State, Ebonyi State, and the likes. The IG of police have warned them not to foment trouble. Will we see, voters really come out in their numbers during the by-election, or will there be some form of apathy?
By historical data, there's always a form of electoral apathy because people don't just trust the process. But we can encourage people to come out. Please have some love process. So the decisions of the leader affect their life where the other an election matter. We just hope that and ensure that everything is done to make our systems a whole lot better. That's just what we can. I only hope for the best.
All right, Mr. Rufai, this issue of elections, right? We're hoping that these reruns are not going to be heavily, we had a lot of cases that went to court during the previous elections. We're hoping that these ones are going to be run smoothly by INEC. Hopefully they show us what, free, fair, and peaceful elections are supposed to be at this point in time.
I mean, we can just only hope. I hope INEC has learned what's their flawed process.
Okay.
I hope they learn.
Mr. Rufai, we'll try to reach you. The network is really, really crazy. We'll try to reach you in just a few moments.
Okay, apologies for the network. Sometimes, it can always, be like that. But we just hope that we get to have a smooth conversation this morning right here on the front page review with Gessie and Simeon Sunday. We get across to Rufai Oseni. While we try to get across to him, let's talk about, one of the top story or the lead story on the Punch this morning, talking about, 15 states enlisting 50,000 vigilantes against kidnappers. 15 states enlist 50,000 vigilantes against kidnappers. In a move to push back the rampaging kidnappers and bandits operating freely across the country, 15 state governors have assembled no fewer than 52,106 man vigilante squads to battle the hoodlums. Officials in Delta, Kano, Plateau, Sokoto, and 11 other states told the Punch that their governors had cobbled together a coalition of vigilantes, hunters, and neighborhood watch groups to complement the police and other security forces. And scores of Nigerians have been abducted across the country in the past weeks, with the FCT, that's Abuja, Lagos, and some other states coming under abductor siege. And though the authorities deployed troops and police operatives, this did not alleviate the security challenge Nigeria is currently going through. And just, on Monday, which was yesterday, a gunman killed 2 Ekiti Monarchs, the Onimojo of Imojo, Oba Olatunde Olushola, as well as the election of Eshun Ekiti, Oba Babatunde Ogunsakin, while the Alara of Ara Ekiti, Oba Adebayo Fatoba, narrowly escaped during the attack on this monarch. So it's a thing of worry for Nigerians, talking about the insecurity plaguing us at this moment. Welcome back, Mr. Rufai.
Yeah, so I hear about the insecurity, I think, which is a big story and a sad reality for our country. As a monarch was shot dead in Kwara, in the short report. Also, we also had 2 monarchs killed in Ekiti. And it's a reflection of the insecurity situation. And that's why we keep asking, where is the president in all of this? You can't go abroad. I think it's back in 2 weeks. And we are citing that 21 days clause in the Constitution. And all of this is happening in your country and you're not providing any solution to it. And the president, right on ground, and must be able to solve the problem, the challenges people are facing. That's what leadership is all about.
All
this
right.
was.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Because this president, he put that in 2014, on the 14th of March 2014, he said on security matter, the bulk stop as the president's table, like in other countries. Jonathan is the chief security officer. Stop Boko Haram. So President Tinubu, stop insecurity. It's your turn now. What's it called? You want to come. Be local. Stop it. Because this was how you hounded Jonathan then, which we are hounding you now. Accountability is key. Stop it.
All right, Mr. Rufai, let's move on to this issue of the BDC operators shutting down operations over the dollar scarcity. I mean, we understand what's going on so far. The BDC operators have come out to say that, you know what, we're not the problem here. We're not the ones driving the, the naira, the value of the naira lower than the dollar. We're not the ones. It's the cryptocurrency guys that are doing this. In this particular situation, Mr. Rufai, what exactly is or would be the effect of the BDC shutting down operations economically?
I mean, it's going to have a jolt, but I don't think it's shut down operation. I mean, it's a currency, a trade. They are trade. The levels are going astronomical. We all know why. The government does not have enough to be able to plug into the first market, and Nigeria is a largely import-dependent country. If we produce in this country, we are a productive nation. Our country will be awash with dollar, so we do not need to. We're collecting a lot of revenue. But as you see today, there are no many companies that are collecting a lot of dollar revenue into the country, except for probably the oil majors, which is few based on what they have. So at this point, but if we have many production sector companies are collecting top dollar and bringing forward into the country, then you'll be able to have, viability. And that's why we call for production across every sector. Then before this, CBA pretty much in effect from the bank. The remaining dollars you have that you have saved, that you're taking a lot of position for. One short. The national analyst was saying, actually yesterday, the national analyst was saying that probably when they sell it to the market, there could be about some $500 million in the market. Yes, that hit the market, and that's why you saw the little reduction. But the question is, what's the sustainability? How sustainable is it going to be in the market? So probably if some cushioning comes and we can get some more money to raise and attack the situation of the currency, we can have some leeway.
All right, Mr. Rufai, it's really concerning to me at this point because I remember this is in the 1990s. We weren't just a one commodity dependent economy. We had various sectors of the economy that were bringing monies into Nigeria. Is it that these different sectors weren't as lucrative enough that we now decided to leave them and then solely focus on one commodity to make our economy dependent on? At this point in time, it's really confusing to me as to why we have other options and we are now focusing on only one particular option to drive the entire strength of the economy.
So largely, since we discovered oil during 1956, started to grow in the 60s, leading up to the 70s, where we had the Yom Kippur War and we had the bounty harvest. Largely, government revenue had been commenced on our crude oil sales. We had other parts of the economy, but the dollar crude oil business is more. And we diversify a year, but we have the that take for instance.
Hello?
Hello?
What's going on with the network today?
Okay. Let's try as much as possible to reconnect with Rufai and see if we can actually have a smooth conversation because network is acting on his own this morning.
But don't forget to join the conversation, right? It is at Voice of the People Abuja. Join us on YouTube, and then you can always leave a message on WhatsApp. It's at 0700 010 961 961. That's the number to call to join the conversation. Mr. Rufai.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you were saying, we will not be able to tap services or other work. Not be able to tap into services and the likes of it. It takes for it. If Nigeria had make billions and billions of and bring that money back, the country will be at war. That's why you see foreign nations that have the more developed and because they are trading. That export value. Can you hear me at all?
Yes, now we can. We couldn't hear you before when you joined back on the call.
Okay. I mean, these people's Abuja network is always having problems. So I don't know because I have the pressure. I'm able to solve the problem. And some of you guys are.
All right.
Better.
Yes, it's a lot better. Go ahead.
I finished speaking.
Mr. Rufai, please, can we recap? Because we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Please.
All I was just saying in effect.
Mm-hmm.
Diversifying. Yeah, just for diversification. Service sector, tech, and all. Not just have it. Probably if we can do it, the diversification.
All right,
Again?
we'll try to
Yes.
reach Mr. Rufai. We can't hear you. It's really bad. We'll try to reach you. We connect on another platform. We'll try to do that in just a moment.
But this is not my name. Same network I would.
All right, let's take a break. Give us a moment. We'll try to reconnect with Rufai in just a few seconds. Just stay tuned.
Are you Traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pickup and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
All right, you're welcome back. This is still front page review right here on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. We have Rufai Oseni back on the phone. Hopefully the network will behave at this point in time. You're welcome back, Mr. Rufai. All right. Before we went on a break, we were talking about the effect of the BDCs shutting down operations. First of all, when I saw this headline, it just threw me into a bit of a shock. The shutting down in itself, is it going to be completely? We're not going to be seeing the BDCs at all. In Abuja, they're in Zone 4. So, is it that we're not going to be seeing them operating at all?
No, I don't think you're not going to be seeing them operate. So it's just a measure. What they claimed was that they were using it to be able to push in the effect and, save the currency. But I think they will be back to service in no time. But I think what is most important is our capacity to be able to bolster our currency. That's what is most important. That's one thing that we have not done effectively. Yeah, we are taking some measures, but the question is, like the CBN took recently, and yeah, there was a downward spiral, but how sustainable are those measures? And that's why we need to, do the long work and ensure that we rejig the economy.
Yes, talking about economy, there's this headline on Daily Trust, which is even their masthead, talking about Nigerians decry the rising cost of living. And of course, if you see the front page of the newspaper, you see, a graphical representation of the cost of living now. And according to the reports, bag of rice, 50 kg that used to sell at 45,000, now goes for 70,000. And a bag of 50 kg flour that used to sell for 35,500 is now 44,000. And when you look at the figures, bag of cement 5.2 is now 7,000 naira. This goes to show that the average Nigerian cannot even afford some of these commodities. Now, what can the federal government do on its own part to ensure that the rising inflation we are seeing is being brought to its barest minimal? We know that it's a global problem, at the moment, but the case of Nigeria is quite unique.
So two things. It's not a global problem. Other nations in the world have been able to tame inflation. In fact, America started with about close to 10% inflation a couple of months ago, but now they are inching towards a 2% target. So other nations are bringing down inflation. So it's not a global problem. It's just because of our attitude at managing inflation, we'll not be able to manage it properly. So it's not a global problem. I beg to differ. Secondly, how do we tame inflation? Solve the legacy problems. Make it possible for farmers to go back to farm. Stop the level of insecurity that is happening. I thought the government said they were going to cultivate about 150 hectares, to be able to cushion the effect of food crisis, of the cash crops and the crops Nigeria readily eats. Where are those ones? Fix all of that system, and you'll begin to have a leeway as regards food. That's just it.
All right. Looking at some of these stories that are trending right now, if we're moving on to insecurity, the state police calls for state policing is also, at the front burner this morning. PDP governors are telling the federal government to establish a state police to fight insecurity at this point in time. We're looking at a situation that is alarming. It's really, really, really alarming. And at this point in time, I'm trying to understand if the PDP had the opportunity at the time, especially during Goodluck Jonathan's time, why did they not go ahead and establish state policing to fight the insecurity at that time? Why did they allow another party to come into power, and now they're screaming for state policing? What happened during
So
the switch?
would you respect, I will not challenge the PDP on the need for state police. I challenge the APC more because it was in APC's manifesto and sent to Nigerians. They said they were going to restructure. In fact, there was a panel set up led by El-Rufai. I was going to devolve up powers. This was going to include state police. The question is, why did they do this? Why did they renege on their promise? As it is today, there's a call for state police. And in fact, in some variation, it has started. In the Southwest State, for instance, after the killing of top Yoruba leader's daughter, we started something called Amotekun. And Amotekun has been able to do some work at stemming the tide as regards insecurity. So we just need more like that. And the argument they make that the states cannot fund them. I think states even have one form or the other of a policing system. I think somewhere in the north, you've got something called Shege Kafasa or something. So one way or the other, we've got all these groups and things like that, and vigilante groups to be able to fight all of this. So I think we just need to be more vigilant and put more resource on the ground towards it and be honest with ourselves.
And just recently, we saw, some states, over 20 states, according to, recent reports, that these states have now enlisted the service of over 50,000 vigilantes to, stem the tide of kidnapping we're seeing. Will this in any way, help the spate of insecurity in the country?
It remains to be seen. At this point in time, any measure is a good measure, as long as we get to a certain extent and ensure that we use all means possible to stop all of this. So it's well welcome that it's a good measure.
I don't know if you saw the report or the statement credited to the first spokesperson, Muyiwa Adejobi, on a television show yesterday, where he said the case of kidnapping is just widely reported in the media. It's not as common as we are saying it. When you hear security agencies making such remark, and a senator just 2 days ago on the floor of the House pushed for, is pushing for a bill where Nigerians can now carry their own gun to protect themselves, because he stated this in that interview, that police cannot protect us. So now looking at these two statements, Senator asking that we carry guns, the police spokesperson saying the case is only widely spread on social media, it's not as it's being reported. Which should Nigerians now go by?
I think the police should send their spokesperson back to school, because it's obvious he doesn't even know what communication is all about. And this idea of police using people within the force to do spokesperson, I think it falls short. I think it's best they get PR specialists, that can craft a proper conversation than just taking somebody among their rank and file and turn them into a spokesperson that have no experience about communication, because they do the worst. They become very insensitive and they don't understand. And I think my response to my very good friend, Mr. Muyiwa, will be, he should go and tell that to Nabena's sister that were kidnapped, that insecurity is not rampant, that people are just talking about it on social media. And I think the job of a spokesperson is so critical, rather than them playing kid gloves or something with it. And that interview was an appalling one he had yesterday. He also further went ahead to say that paying ransom is criminal. You think Nigerians love to pay ransom? They pay ransom because you, as the police, you have failed. Paying ransom is a reflection of your failure as the police. So I think the police should do better as regards spokesperson. I mean, a lot of them are hardly not trained in this area. So they don't even understand what it is.
So, in other words, ACP Olumiwa needs to go back to probably School of Journalism or something. Is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need to go back to School of Journalism. He needs to go back to School of proper training of public communications. That's just it. Since he cannot effectively use his own acumen to be able to communicate, then he should be taught. He should go back to a refresher course. And if possible, rather than saying all of this, you should stay off interviews. What you would have expected him to say is, okay, we acknowledge the concerns of the citizens, and this is what we are doing as regards it. That's just it. Not trying to be defensive. He needs to go back and be coached. He lacks knowledge on this.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufai. It's 7:55. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Nigeria is playing today, and we've seen the juicy prices, the juicy incentives that the Angolans are offering to their players. What exactly will you say to Nigeria and the Super Eagles?
All I just want Nigeria is to go out there and do us proud and dominate and do well. And we are rooting for the boys. And I think we could beat Angola 2-1.
2-1.
That's my prediction. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. On Monday we'll be here. We'll see if your prediction is right or not.
Thank you.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, this is still the front page review right here on Voice of the People. Feel free to join the conversation on socials. We are live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Just drop a comment right there. We'll be reading them. Or you can also send us a message on WhatsApp reacting to the headlines. Send us a voice note or call us up via the studio number 0700 010 961 0700 010-961-961. Feel free to call us up. We'll be back when we take this break. Stay with us.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
Today's sun is so hot though.
So what are you waiting for? Get the authentic taste of creamy cold berry ice cream. To order online from Gariki, call 07 Guarimpa 090 8831 5.
People 96.1 FM. See ya.
Every play, every score, and every victory is a story waiting to be told. Sports Bit. Weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Now you have a voice. It's thrilling, controversial, heated, thought-provoking. Catch Rufai Oseni.
Came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal.
Kesire Aqua.
Report was that $9 billion is lost yearly to illegal mining.
And Simeon Sunday.
If you know something of this nature is happening within your community, why didn't you raise an alarm?
On the Front Page Review, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. Now you have a voice.
What has the police discovered that all of a sudden between December and January there is a spike
in most cases is the topography of some of these areas. See Buhari, for instance. See the topography.
But there are kidnappings in Lagos. Is topography also
What is the waterways?
a factor?
What is the waterways? Don't forget, the kidnapping in Lagos was actually triggered due to the waterways. Do you know that the water from Lagos, the waterway from Lagos leads to Delta, leads to Port Harcourt, leads to Bayelsa? It's the same waterway.
What about Ekiti? Is that the same thing in Ekiti too?
No, Ekiti is forest. And the thing you need to know is that when you study all this, you can't, there are certain things the police cannot do alone.
But these things have been in existence before December and January. The trend has gone up recently. Isn't there a sociological reason for it?
It's not that it's going up like that. Forget what we read in social media. Reality, it is not so. This one in Ekiti is just an isolated case that just happened recently. It's not that something that is happening on a daily basis. No, we have cases that are isolated, but when you read them on social media, you think it is not what you have on record. So we don't have the incident of kidnapping on the rise from Ekiti or anywhere in the southwestern part or in the northeastern or southwestern part of Nigeria. So these are isolated cases.
But Mr. PPRO,
yes,
the cases of abduction has been reported. Is the root cause of this rise?
All right, you just heard the voice of the police force PRO right there, giving us a speech, on the spate of insecurity in our country. If you actually, at the same are subscribed to the same school of thought as he does, then give us a message, okay? So that it's not like we are saying he's completely wrong. If you subscribe to the same school of thought, give us a message on YouTube. It's at Voice of the People Abuja, and you can call 070 0010 961 961 0700 010 961 961. Simeon.
Okay, we heard Lumiwa Adejobi, my Oga at the top, making certain statement that the case in Ekiti, anyone on uniform is Oga at the top. So saying the case of Ekiti is just one case, that kidnappings is not on the rise in Ekiti state. It is and other southwestern states as well. It is quite ironic that he made this statement yesterday, courtesy Channels Television, because he was on that particular show, Politics Today, with Shonwoki Baloye. And then, after making that statement, it wasn't long, even Seth, on the same day he made that statement, we got reports that a monarch still within the southwestern region was killed and his wife was abducted. It is quite ironic and sad that Olumiwa Adejobi, the first PRO, will come out to make such statements, knowing that Nigerians are not blind to what is happening.
At this point in
country.
time, every time we have some person defending the government, quote unquote, or giving us a speech in one situation or the other, the truth is Nigerians are not blind. We are seeing the news. We hear the news every day. In fact, less news comes to the fore as opposed to what's happening
in real life.
We know that there are more cases of these kidnappings that don't make it to the news. So when you have an individual who is supposed to have as much information as he's supposed to, as he does, rather come out and make these kinds of statements, it's sort of a slap on the Nigerian people. It's sort of a slap because there are individuals who are feeling the brunt. Nabia's sister, Nabia's family, her father. The monarchs that were killed in Ekiti just how many days ago? You should go and tell those families
and
these,
the one of
these
yesterday,
things. And the one of yesterday.
Monarch.
So you begin to wonder, when these individuals come out to make certain statements, is it that they are completely bereft of emotion towards the Nigerian people who are suffering the ineffectiveness of their constitutionally given power as the police to protect lives and properties? At this point in time, you just have to look at them and be like, what are you saying?
I know. Let me just play the devil advocate here. Yes, I understand the statement he made, but could it be that Olumiwa Adejobi is made that particular statement on the basis of cases of kidnaps that have been confirmed by them and also reported by the media? The truth is, we've heard a lot of cases within the southwestern part of the country. Yes, there are a lot of kidnappings going down there. But many of those cases doesn't even come to the knowledge of the Nigerian police force because
Here's the question.
families
Why?
of the victims
Why?
would rather keep it hush, find a way to raise the ransom, pay off, and get their loved one back. And most times we get to hear, or the police could probably get to hear this after it had happened, long before it had happened, and there's no official or formal documentation on such cases or such kidnap. Could it be that he's saying this from that point of view?
You gave us a scenario yesterday. I'm referencing the video from yesterday. You might want to go on YouTube and catch up on it. Simeon gave us a narration of what happened in his estate last year, right? He gave us a narration of what happened in the Kubwa
relocation too.
Exactly, in that particular estate. He gave us a narration, and you talked about the fact that you called the police around you. He gave you the number of another police station closer, exactly, closer to your residence, and you called them. They came and did what they were supposed to do. At this point in time, is it that every time the police in their smaller locations, do they not give a full report to the head like this, where they do not communicate? Is it possible?
You cannot take away the possibility as well. There could also be a possibility that some of these police officers do not want to report this or put it as an official report in their statements, because some of them, at the end of the day, it's also indicting to them that where were you when this happened? What was your response? And especially if they didn't have a proper response to give, to this they're answerable to. You get to see this. So the question is, do they report these cases even at the lower cadre? The smaller police units we see are scattered across the country. It is quite worrisome. The cases of kidnapping is a problem in the country. And even yesterday, as at this morning, The Guardian has one of the headlines talking about the bandits abducting the director near military base as reports cite rising impact of insecurity. That is on the Guardian newspaper for today. Bandits abduct director near military base as reports cite rising impact of insecurity. There seems to be no immediate end to insecurity in Abuja as bandits yesterday abducted a director. With the Federal Housing Authority, a spokesperson for the Nigerian Army, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, and the FCT Police Command, Josephine Ade, could not be reached for comment as of the time of filing this report by The Guardian. The Guardian gathered that the abduction happened very close to a military base at the entrance of Buari, very close to Pambara, extension within the FCT. And the kidnappers were said to have gained access through the fence after cutting the barbed wires. And the part of Pambara extension where Mr. Andover was kidnapped is just about 200 meters away from the military base. And the abductors were said to have escaped through the bush with their victim. An FHA spokesperson, Kenneth Chigelu, confirmed the incident, explaining that Mr. Ver is a staff of its mortgage bank, an autonomous institution of the FHA. And he said the development has stalled the FHA event, which was even scheduled for today. The handing over of 40,000 units to owners in Gwarimpa. And he added that the MD, Benga Ashafa, is disturbed by this incident where one of its staff has been kidnapped by these elements within the Buari Area Council. Now you get to ask yourself, this Buari, every time in the news, for every time you get to hear kidnappings happening in the FCT, Buari is now seems to be like the hotbed for kidnappers. It was still within the Buari Area Council, that Nabia and the family were kidnapped, of which Nabia was killed and others. Still within that same Buari, we had the cases of kidnap after the case of Nabia as well. And of course, Kubwa is also part of, Buari Area Council. And it's still within Buari Area Council. Just 2 days ago that we heard about the kidnap in Chikakore community, where 2 sisters were reportedly kidnapped. That is same Buari Area Council. Late last year in December, still within the Kubwa location, 2 people were kidnapped. 6 persons were kidnapped from a particular street called, I forgot, Amilomania Street. Still within that same Kubari location, estate in the same Buari Area Council. We know that Buari is a very big area council because Buari cuts across from Duse down to Kubwa, down to Pape. Pape is also Buari under Buari Area Council. to Ushafa and the likes. And when you look at the area council, it is huge. And you get to ask yourself, what is the police doing? What is the chairman of Bari Area Council doing? And I remember Yesom Wike, the minister of the FCT, visited Bari Area Council right after the kidnap of Nabia,
last week.
To speak to the chairman. And then he raised certain selling point that what are these chairmen doing to also assist in ensuring that we see the rate of kidnapping within this region reduce. So many questions Nigerian asking, and little questions are being given at the end of the day.
All right. I remember during the the election campaigns, the 2023 election campaigns, Tinubu, the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he had spoken to the northern elders, especially on security. He said that state policing to tackle insecurity can only be achieved through a constitutional review amendment that would require collective support of all the stakeholders and all of that. And he said if elected into office, his administration will give top priority to state policing and to ensure that there are more boots on ground to be able to deal with the challenges of banditry, terrorism and other violent crimes bedeviling the country. So the question now is, we're 8 months in. When will they give top priority? When are you going to give top priority to these calls for state policing? It's important because lives are lost while the elected officials are sitting in their homes. We are having individuals, masses are being affected every single day, and it's not just even the mental warfare, right, that they go through when somebody has been kidnapped in the den of the kidnappers, right? It is the economic effect it has on the family, because it's not just even the immediate family. That person has to pull in resources from every single person around. Please give us this. The other day we were talking about the Ekiti pupils who were kidnapped, and they were able to raise only 450,000 naira out of 30 million. It's a mental I don't know, mind meld at this point in time, because how do you let individuals who have come out of this, how do they even regain trust even in individuals around them? Because they begin to suspect people around them. They're scared. They have a mental, they're going through a lot at this point in time. And then we have the force PRO coming to make the kind of statements that he made, making it look as though the government is not sympathetic to what's going on in the country.
It's quite sad. You mentioned something that the truth is, a lot of people have actually called for the review of the 1999 Constitution, of which we operate by. As even lawyers, analysts have actually pointed out some of the lacunas, within the 1999 Constitution. Even lawyers, huge lawyers, SANS are also saying it. That for us to have the Nigeria we hope for, parts of the Constitution must be reviewed to reflect the current, realities. Talking about economy, talking about, politics, talking about security and all of it. And of course, we saw Ben Kalu, who is the chairman of the House Committee on Constitution Review, saying that, by the 26th of February, a committee will be set up. And the basic responsibility of this particular committee is to ensure that they look at part of the Constitution that Nigerians have raised concern about and get to review them. And hopefully by December 2025, we should be coming up with a bouncing new, we won't say baby, but fresh new form of constitution, at least amended constitution to reflect our realities. But my concern is looking at that. We just hope that when this constitution will be reviewed and when all these committees talking about start from the Senate down to the House of Reps, when they sit, have their meetings, have their panel discussions on parts of the constitution to review, let them review that that makes police a national issue. Where state governors do not even have a say when it comes to policing in their state. This is part of the review we are looking out for. So policing can now even be at the local level, at the state level, where the state governors can at least have some form of control over them, because you cannot be controlling police at the national level and expect them to operate maximally at the grassroots level, where we are hearing this pocket of violence across the country. So it is necessary that this is done. And also, certain things that has to do with security must also be reviewed aside other political, demands or questions or raised by Nigerians. When it comes to security, this should be paramount. And this is what that constitutional review panel should be discussing going forward.
Simeon, we're talking about a National Assembly who is resuming plenary at January 30th. When did you resume work this year?
As much as people have actually said politics shouldn't be a full-term job,
it shouldn't be a full-term job.
This is part of the review we are looking out for. Look at the
amount of money they are getting paid to just rest for the holidays.
They just took 3 days.
What's 3 days?
3 weeks.
It's 1 full month. Simeon, see, look at this, right? If you have a situation where, the National Assembly is resting for a month, when normal work resumed, the 2nd of January, everybody had gone to work. Even if not by 2nd, at least 7th, they were back to work. You have a National Assembly who doesn't have the political will to push certain laws, to push for certain laws that would actually help their constituents. So which National Assembly are we hoping on to help us even galvanize this particular thing that we're calling for?
Is it the same National Assembly that even some lawmakers, especially in the floors of the Senate, I remember a particular senator raising issues and concerns that it seems like any bill or being passed by anything being pushed for by the executive arm, and that's talking about the president, is being speedily passed by the Senate president. I don't know if you saw that particular video, that they do not even take enough time to scrutinize some of the demands made by the president. Now once it's just brought to the floor of the House, highs have it, and then it's being assented to. These are some of the concerns we are talking about, because as much as we want synergy between the legislators and the executive, but the legislators, being the lawmaking arm of government, should scrutinize everything the executive does. Every thing being pushed towards them, everything that must be passed into law should be heavily scrutinized, not just having a rubber stamp assembly as assembly they just started a few months ago, and Nigerians are already seeing them as rubber stamp.
At this point in time, the National Assembly used to be it's supposed to be an assembly of intellectuals who come to debate, drop your
intellectuals
coming to drop their very, very valid factual points backed by facts, right? They're dropping it down at the floor of the House for everyone to hear, mull over, and if they're convinced by that argument, they go ahead and vote either for or against. That's what the National Assembly is supposed to be, a vibrant coming together of intellectuals to debate what they truly believe in would be in the best interest of their constituents. But what we have now is a situation where you're looking at the executive. What do you want done? Okay, let's vote for this. Do you want it or do you not want it? Meanwhile, at the back, we're seeing conversations where, these particular political parties will come out and say, okay, let's lobby these guys. We understand, yes, there's the whole point of lobbying. But then where is that part of you wanting what's best for the individuals who voted you in?
Anyway, we just hope that we'll definitely have a Julius Malema in the floors of our house, whether the Senate or the House of Reps, because Malema is a problem when it comes to opposition leadership on the floors of the South African chamber. Away from that, let's move on to more worrying reports according to The Guardian. And according to The Guardian, it says agony of road users. Over 120 extortion points, double travel time. Travelers' pains in Southeast. Over 120 extortion points, double travel time. Travelers' pains in the Southeast. And the detail says road travel in the South has really been an epic joyride, but it has just gotten worse. Multiple checkpoints by various security agencies and touts alike, sometimes at 500-meter intervals, suggest a new thoroughfare to the eastern part of the country, while the need for security presence is understood by all. Most harrowing is the attendant bedlam that serves more extortion and harassment purposes than the protection of lives and property. And when you look at the distance from Lagos to Abia State, it is about, it's about 464 kilometers, and normally, completed in 6 to 8 hours if you want to bearing any challenge you experience, bad roads and all of that. And even though we know that the infrastructure has improved, that's the road infrastructure within this particular lane, but motorists are saying that there's chaos on that particular route where the new travel time for people is now 12 to 16 hours. And part of the long traveling hours for Nigerians is because of the multiple checkpoints you see. You see the customs, you see NDLEA, you see the Nigerian police, sometimes you see the army as well. So when you see multiple checkpoints, and these checkpoints are not even far apart from each other,
so
you move from one point to another. So for every point you go to, it reduces your travel time.
You encounter traffic, obviously, because you're seeing other cars who are trying to pass that particular checkpoint and get to the next one. And then some of these individuals keep extorting Nigerians. You wonder when we talk about the police being short-staffed, the security agencies being worn out or torn in, being pulled in different places, you begin to wonder, is this why we are seeing that particular situation where the police is saying they're understaffed at this point in time? Is it because you've lined the entire southeast with policemen? Where then is the safety? Because even with all those number of checkpoints, how secure is the road?
Because when you see the number of checkpoints on this stretch of roads, you get to ask yourself, are these checkpoints meant really for security, or these are just checkpoints of individuals or men of our security agencies doing this for their own personal gains? Because between Lagos and Ore, those who have traveled through that route, and even according to the report by Guardian, there are about 40 checkpoints from Lagos to Ore alone. 40 checkpoints. And then when you want to move from Ore to Benin, there are about 46 of them. And then from Benin to Onitsha, you have 25 checkpoints. So if you are going from Lagos and you are going to Onitsha, that means you have to go across all these checkpoints as reported by the Guardian. And when you do your mathematics, that's 40 plus 46, that's 86. Then 86 plus 25. When you put it together, that's about 105 checkpoints that you are 11 checkpoints, I beg your pardon. 21, I beg your pardon, that you have to go through before going from Lagos to get to Onitsha. So why will there not be longer travel time? Why will people not be losing money? All in the name of trying to settle officers on the road.
You're looking at the economics, the economic implication on the security agencies to, get people to man those checkpoints. It will be very, very economically, heavy on the security agencies themselves, on the personnel themselves. Because why then are you having duplicity of responsibilities? Why do you have so many individuals on that road when there are individuals in different corners of those states who have been either affected by kidnapping, or some bandits would come and just wreak havoc in those places? You begin to wonder, where then lies our priority? Is the issue of security just a thing of politics? We're playing politics with it while lives are being lost. Is that what it is? Or is that what we've been reduced to at the moment?
Something ought to be done about all these checkpoints. I remember, it was a time that the Nigerian IG at the time said all roadblocks should be removed and let Nigerians travel, except essential checkpoints, where that one is basically because of security, because most of the roadblocks we see on the road is not for security. At the end of the day, you just have sand-filled bags on the road, blocking motorists from going about their duty. Yes, we know that to an extent, these checkpoints, in a way, helps with the psychology of Nigerians, especially when thieves or kidnappers know that there are road checkpoints on this road, they try to avoid those routes. But the question is, does it really stop them from carrying out their nefarious activities? These are questions we need to ask ourselves.
All right, there's real quick, just